What is love anyway? Does anybody love anybody anyway? Dan McKenzie sang that song a little bit better than I just did at my high school talent show. Dan was a senior, I was a freshman. I loved him. I don't think he really even knew my name, but I flippin' loved that guy. Does anybody love anybody anyway? Like my parents. I was always a little ashamed of my dad. When he wasn't traveling, he did travel a lot for work, but when he wasn't traveling, I really only remember him yelling or sleeping. And I know that he probably did other things. I mean, I know he watched Wheel of Fortune. And he's that guy who would yell at the television, "Wheel of Fortune!" So, and then there's like the things that he ate. I never really related to the fact that all I remember him eating was mushroom and onion pizza from Franco's or Entenmann's chocolate cake. Okay, I kind of admit, I understand the Entenmann's chocolate cake, it's delicious, but then there's the gallons of Pepsi. I just couldn't relate to that. And then there was a time when he needed to use the shower. So he would walk naked from his bedroom to the bathroom we all shared because he never got around to fixing the shower in the master bedroom. So that's where we stored the family luggage. So you can imagine, I didn't really want to invite friends over to that. Then when I did, my mother coordinated it with my father's travel schedule. We do talk on the phone twice a year on birthdays. Our most recent conversation went like this. Happy birthday! Oh, shoot. Happy birthday! Thanks, I'm old. You're the same age as the Golden Gate Bridge. That doesn't really make me feel better. How's your husband? My granddaughter. You mean Adam and Hayden? Yeah, they're good. I'd like to meet them sometime. Yeah, maybe. Sometime. I'm gonna go. I gotta lie down. Bye. Bye. Talk to you in December. Does anybody love anybody anyway? So, the thing is that my dad had a lot of potential. When my mother met him when she was in college, he was like really good looking and tall, with piercing blue eyes, and he was really smart. He was really quick wit, except it always was tinged with a little bit of a mean streak. My dad used to travel a lot, and so when he went on business trips, we would go with him. They were family vacations for my brother, my mother, and me. I remember going to Massachusetts and Delaware and Cape Cod. The only thing I don't remember is anything about Delaware, Massachusetts, Cape Cod. I do remember the hotels, and I remember the swimming pools. And this particular hotel had an indoor swimming pool and a hot tub. So after dinner, we went to the pool and went for a swim, and then I joined my father in the hot tub. A few minutes later, my brother came and joined us too. And he stepped into the hot tub, and then he stepped down the first step, and then he stepped down the second step. Only there wasn't a second step, and he vanished. 1 second passed. 2 seconds. 3 seconds. Then my brother popped up. He was fine. But my father wasn't. His face was purple. I looked at him and his face was actually purple. Because he was laughing. I know. You were there! And then you were gone! He laughed for 20 full minutes. I'd never seen anything like it before. And then he calmed down, take some deep breaths, and then he did picture the image again, and he started launching into another fit of hysteria. And this went on for days. He thought it was hilarious. And even to this day, if you ask him about the hot tub incident, he'll conjure up that memory and he'll let out a full laugh. He loves that memory. My brother, he didn't like it so much. He doesn't like that memory. He was 7. He was terrified. He doesn't really like hot tubs anymore. There's this show on the Discovery Channel. It's called Mystery Diagnosis. And there's this one episode called The Purple Puzzle. It's about this guy, Dan Wetherell. He was like this active, young biology teacher. And one day he woke up and he had a burning sensation in his ears, and his face had turned purple. He was diagnosed with cold agglutinin disease. It's a rare autoimmune hemolytic anemia. That's what caused the discoloration. My dad's face just turned purple because he's an asshole. I mean, there are things that my father liked. I know that he liked Angie Harmon from Law and Order. He liked shirts that snapped down the front instead of buttons. He liked sports. He would watch all kinds of sports. Baseball, football, boxing. But my father really liked to drink. I don't really remember him being drunk, but I'm pretty sure my childhood, he suffered from alcohol-induced fatigue and anger and frustration. We used to go to this restaurant called the Gasho. It's a New York version of the Benihana. And after lunch, my father would send my mother, my brother, and me out to the Japanese tea gardens to look at the koi pond while he went and stayed and paid the bill. Years later, I discovered he would order a dessert, an ice cream dessert, and his third sake. Now, I could forgive the sake, but the dessert, I mean, it's so mean. And my mother, she always drove home from the Gasho. It makes me think, was she complicit? I mean, not like Ivanka Trump, but like... She must have known. Why did she stay with that guy? I never asked her. I didn't really like talking to my parents. Does anybody love anybody anyway? Sushi wasn't mainstream when I was a child, but I discovered I loved it when I was in college. And weirdly, my father made the same discovery around the same time. So I was home from school between my junior and senior year, and my dad invited me to Murasaki, half price to all-you-can-eat sushi. So I had to debate, like, can I spend a night with my dad in a restaurant by myself, or like, can I eat this delicious, very expensive sushi? So my love for sushi way out. So all day long, I started generating possible conversation topics. I thought, maybe I could use this as an opportunity to actually get to know my father and ask him like really intimate personal questions to really understand him better. Like, Dad, I just think it's so sad that your dad died when you were in college. What do you remember about him? What was he like? Or, you must have been so proud of your mother being college educated in 1920. What was she like as a mom? Or, what was my mother like in college? Oh, what do you remember about her? How'd you propose? Or I could use the opportunity of the restaurant setting to bait him a little. Dad, you know, whenever we talk about your alcoholism, and I'm not home very often, how's that going these days? Or perhaps, you know, I have this feeling that when my grandfather dies and we get our inheritance, my mom's going to divorce you. Can you pass the edamame? Or, Dad, I mentioned I have a black boyfriend named Pablo. So if you meet him, please don't use the word Schwarzer around him, because I taught him what that word means. So, 5 o'clock. We're the first ones at Murasaki. They open the doors. They seat us at the booth. We're staring right at each other. And my dad excuses himself. Not to go to the bathroom like I expected, but to go to the car to retrieve a 4-inch black and white portable television. Right? So I sat in silence while he watched a Yankees game. And truthfully, you guys, a wave of relief came over me. And I could fully immerse myself in the delicious unagi and thoughts of my boyfriend, Pablo. I loved Pablo for about 8 months. And then I cheated on him with David Lowe. And then I loved Mark Van Ostenbridge. But he cheated on me with Tracy. She spelled her name with an I. I found a letter she wrote to him and said, "Dear Mark, you are such a sweet guy." And she spelled sweet, S-W-E-A-T. That made that breakup so much easier. It took me 2 years to get Mike McCaffrey to love me. When he finally did, I was just a fraction of who I really am. But truth be told, I was fully engaged in a second relationship at the same time with Colin, and that didn't end very well. So was I ever going to find love? Was I ever going to be able to trust anybody? Was anybody going to be able to trust me? The leaders of Landmark Education promised. As long as I'm my true, authentic self, I'll get everything I want. My deep fear was, what if my true, authentic self is like my dad? But then I saw him, and he was so different than the others. He was like calm, mellow, and just so sweet. And I was 30, I felt ready, and he was 28 in dog years. I met him at the SPCA in San Francisco. They let me into his fully furnished. Have you seen these places? They're fully furnished, like studio apartments for these dogs. And I walk in and I sit down and he sits right on my lap. And he's like a 57-pound, soft as a bunny lap dog. I found someone to love. Tucker was perfect from the start. He had a perfect face, perfect manners, his paws, those perfect, fresh cut grass smelling feet. He was the star student at the SPCA Canine Good Samaritan Good Citizenship Prep class. The only part he failed was the supervised separation, because he did not want to leave my side. Tucker slept on the bottom of my bed. We went everywhere together. I started taking him to school. My first graders loved him. They would feed him their snacks, and he would high five them and roll over. I remember one time Mia Glickman dropped her Bonnie Bell cheese on the ground. Tucker went to eat it. I was like, "Tucker, don't!" And he goes, bleh, bleh, and he spit it out. What dog does that? So it was just me and Tucker. And then I started internet dating. And everybody seemed to be named Matt. They all had monikers. And so I went out one night with Fit Matt. And after dinner, we went to my house, we were smooching on the bed. And for some reason, he took umbrage the fact that Tucker was sharing our pillow. So we asked him, what was that?
The light.
A bulbous lamp?
Okay, no worries. It was Matt, the heat from the... So Matt asked him to leave. But I couldn't concentrate on anything that was going on with Matt, because all I could hear was Tucker breathing through the crack in the bottom of the door. That was the last date with that Matt. But Tucker never met Fat Matt, or Maddie in the morning. He did like Mary Kay Matt, but Mary Kay Matt liked Tucker better than he liked me. And then I got the phone call. It was from Jennifer Leitzes. She was like, "Robin, I have a story for you." A few weeks earlier, she had done the AIDS ride from San Francisco to LA. So I met her at 5:30 in the morning. I woke up, got there to wish her off, send her off, wish her well. And I went to give her something for luck for the ride. But nothing too cumbersome, she'd be on her bike. So I gave her one of my prized possessions. It was my 1995 expired California driver's license. Not kidding. It was the best picture I've ever taken. I was 24 in the picture. I was 33 at the time. I think I could part with it for a week. while Jennifer rides her little heart out. So she goes off, she goes on the first day of the ride, and she ends up meeting a lot of friends. And the second day, everybody gets up and they pump their tires, and she's standing behind this guy. He has this awesome octopus tattoo on his leg, and she's like, "Oh my gosh!" She taps him on the shoulder. She's like, "Excuse me, do you mind filling up my tire?" He's like, "You're riding your bike 540 miles. Like that's the kind of skill you should have." She's like, "I know. My husband, he's been filling up my tires for the whole 10 months of my training, and I have no idea how much air to put in." So that kind of launches this little friendship. She said, "I have a great idea. You can be my surrogate husband on this ride. You can meet me in the morning, you pump my tires." It's like, probably not going to happen, but it did. It started a friendship. So throughout the week, she'd look for the octopus statue and be like, "Hey, Jennifer!" And in the middle of the week, she finally got the courage to ask him something that she'd been wanting to ask him from that very moment. She said, "Excuse me, Adam, can I ask you a personal question?" Adam said, "Sure. Do you date men or women?" Fair question. I date men. I'm sorry. Do you date men or women? I date women. I'm not dating anybody now. She said, "Oh, because I have two people I want to set you up with, George Roberts and Robin Moss." "Oh, tell me a little bit about Robin Moss. Is she Jewish?" "She is. In fact, I have her driver's license." So he looks at it. He's like, "Oh, hubba, because I'm telling you, it's like the best picture I've ever seen." Then he looks at it a little closer, and he's like, "Wait a minute. I think I know your friend. I never met her, but I contacted her on JDate. She deleted me." Twice.